Hey there friends, Foster the Canadian here. Welcome back to another Fridays with Foster, which is a weekly series in which you guys send me stories or ask me advice, ask me questions, and I give you my take on them, give you some advice, and we have some fun. Now, a quick note about the gameplay is, it just, looking over at this footage, it looks more like an action movie than just Halo. It was a lot of fun, to play this game. It wasn't just like, me totally kicking ass and taking names. It was just good, fun-looking gameplay. So, on with the stories. Alright, I'd like to call this first story Misdemeanor Misidentification. I don't know if this will do, but I'll give it a shot. It's basically about how close some of my friends and I are. We were all going out to this club one night. Everything is the way it usually is. Hilarious taxi ride in, a few of us getting turned away by the bouncers only to be let in 2 minutes later, etc. Anyway, we have normal enough night and leave the club at about 2 a.m., making our way to the nearest Burger King. We get there, order some food, have a laugh, the usual. Upon leaving, we see somebody handcuffed being put in the back of a police car. One of my friends, Aaron, shouts, "That's Sean! Why are they arresting Sean?" We both panic, and as the police car pulls off, we begin to sprint after it. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's a pedestrianized street, so the only cars that are allowed on it are police vehicles, delivery vehicles, and street sweepers. Anyway, the car pulls away from us and has to stop every now and again because of drunkards walking out in its way. Meanwhile, we were still full on sprinting just after our extra large bacon double cheeseburger meals. Eventually, the car was stopped for an extended period of time as it came to the junction of another street full of people hailing taxis. We catch up to the car and I start banging on the passenger window of the car, shouting, "What did he do? He didn't do anything! Let him go!" The policeman in the passenger seat just stares at me through the window with a confused look on his face. I continue to shout anything and everything that I think will help clear my dear friend Sean of whatever he had supposedly done, when I hear Aaron say in a rather reserved voice, "That's not Sean." I went blank. I turned my head to Aaron, who had both his hands on either side of his face, blocking the glare from the streetlights so that he could look into the back seat. I said, "What?" He turned and looked at me in surprise and just said, "It's not him." With a facial expression that steadily realized we chased a police car for about 5 minutes in an attempt to free some guy we didn't even know. Upon realizing we had made a terrible mistake, we both began to quickly make our way back to Burger King. Although I didn't see it, Aaron claimed that just before we left the side of the police car, he saw the guy in the back give him a thumbs up. So we pant and wheeze on our way back to Burger King, and what do we see? Sean, standing outside the front doors as nonchalant as you can be. He simply asked where we had been, completely ignoring the fact that we were desperately out of breath. We explained to him what happened, and he says, "So wait, you thought I was arrested and ran after the police car to try and help me. Unreal! Cheers, lads!" In hindsight, the story does seem a tad comedic, but that is really how it happened. Me and Aaron both agree the entire time we were chasing the police car was one of the most adrenaline-filled experiences of our lives. We genuinely thought our friend was arrested, and we were determined to get him back. Alright, first off, this is a fantastic story. I really, this is the kind of thing that I expected to get more of, not just advice. Not that I don't love giving advice, if you guys have any questions for me, I'm more than happy to answer them. But I love this story. They think that their friend's being arrested. They don't even think about it. They just go, and they chase that police car, and they get there, and his friend goes, "That's not Sean," in the back seat. Love it. And I wish I had something that I could compare this to, but really I haven't had an experience that even closely resembles this. This is a pretty unique story, and thank you for sending it in. Alright, I'd like to call this next story Homeless Hot Dog Howler. So my second week of college, me and my dorm mates decided, hey, let's go get hot dogs. Also, this was at 1 in the morning and we were all starving. Anyways, there's a little hot dog place in downtown Flagstaff, Arizona, where you can get some pretty good hot dogs. And we all decided to go there. It was about a 30-minute walk to get there, and we find out that the place is closed for the night. Like idiots, we decided to stand there hoping the sign would go away, and of course it didn't. Suddenly, a homeless woman came out of an alley from across the street and started screaming at us about armed robbery and how New York City is going up in flames because there are no more hot dogs in the world. We all just kind of stared at her and tried not to laugh. And then she quickly ran back into the alley she came from and continued to yell armed robbery. 10 seconds later, we booked it out there and started looking for another place to get food. We eventually came upon a 24-hour place, ate there, and as we were walking back to campus, we see the homeless woman again running around the middle of the street shouting, "Armed robbery!" She stopped, looked at us, realized who we were, and started chasing after us, shouting "armed robbery" over and over again. It had almost been something out of a horror movie because we all thought we were going to get stabbed. We did make it back to campus, thank God, and proceeded to run down the hall shouting "armed robbery" before the room advisor told us to go to sleep. Moral of the story? Do not go get hot dogs in downtown at 1 in the morning. Well, this story contributed. Alright, before I say anything, I never had to take that many takes just to read a story. I kept cracking up when I was reading "armed robbery, New York is burning, armed robbery, hot dogs." You know, that was a lot of fun just to record. Now, I was trying to figure out if maybe, you were joking around. This story never happened. It does sound kind of out there. But then when you think about it, this isn't the strangest thing that homeless people have done. Now, I'm not going to generally say all homeless people are crazy, but there's a percentage that definitely are. I remember one time I was walking down the street in downtown Vancouver, and I started to get into like a bad neighborhood. Didn't really know where I was going. I was just walking around. If you guys don't know Vancouver, I was walking around south of Rogers Arena down to Hastings Street. Lovely part of town, by the way. But yeah, I was walking down there, and this guy jumped out, and he starts yelling about how we were trying to take his dirt. Like, we were taking his dirt from him, and I don't remember what it was, and he was, like, shaking his cup. He wanted money. And I figured, I'd drop some money in. That would get him to go. I dropped, I think, maybe a couple quarters in, and he looked at it, and he spat in the cup and walked off. And, yeah, that's when I thought about that, I realized that, you know what, this story isn't that out there after all. So thanks for sending that in. I had a lot of fun reading and recording that. Alright, this next one is a first, as it is not someone asking me for advice, but rather someone asking me just a regular question. I didn't eat my first cheeseburger, by choice at least, until I was 21 years old. Is there something wrong with me? More of a question than a story, but hopefully it helps. Look, man, I can see where you're coming from, and it must have been hard for you to type that. I can relate to that. I mean, I personally never watched The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air until I was 15 years old. So I get it. I really do get where you're coming from. But yes, there is something wrong with you, and you need to look at yourself in the mirror and realize that. Because that's the only way you're going to get over this. You didn't eat your first cheeseburger until you were 21. Or you say by choice, so I'm hoping that at some point in your life, you were still getting your cheeseburgers. But from the sound of it, you didn't have much choice in it. And I don't understand it. Like, this is one of those things that I can't relate directly to, so I have to take something else to relate to it. And yeah, man, you're kind of messed up. I normally wouldn't say this to someone, but yeah, you're kind of messed up. I'm sorry. You didn't eat your cheeseburger till you're 21. You should probably unsubscribe from me. I rarely say that, but I was seeing how long I could go with that. Yeah, you didn't eat your first cheeseburger by choice until you're 21. Yeah, there's probably something a little wrong with you. You're probably a little out there. Who knows? But I mean, who doesn't have something weird like that? So yeah, thanks for sending in this very unique question. Alright, thank you guys for watching the video, and remember, if you want to keep Fridays with Foster going, I do need you guys to send in stories or ask me advice, or, just ask me a random question, and, yeah, I can keep this going. This week, it was a little down to the line. I had to get all these stories last minute, but I think it worked out pretty well. I really do thank you guys for sending them in, and if you like this video, you want to see another Fridays with Foster, you can click the annotation on your screen to go check it out. Last week's episode was entitled Hate Mail and Long Distance Relationships. Almost forgot about that one. And how could I forget about that long-winded hate mail message I got? Anyway, until next time, this is Foster the Canadian saying see ya.